We started our alliance in September of this year, and human trafficking is a $1 billion industry. It's an illegal industry, and it basically robs millions of young girls and women of their livelihood, and it's basically slavery. It's happening in the United States, and just one advocate's not going to be able to stop it. One law enforcement agency won't be able to stop it. It's going to take everybody working together in the United States and in Alabama to stop this.
It's estimated over 500,000 kids each day is sex trafficking. And when David Humphrey asked me to be involved in this organization, I was hesitant at first because it's one of those things that many of us don't want to be a part of. And I thought about it, prayed about it, and when I started doing my research, I talked to David and I accepted the opportunity to do that. And one child is one too many, and it can happen to any household, any face, and it's our job, and it's an opportunity for us to make a difference in young people's lives.
And we know that human trafficking is based on fraud, force, and coercion. It can happen at any city, in any state throughout the United States, and it really targets a lot of our youth, poverty, unemployment. And you look at family backgrounds of abuse, conflicts, and also young people are always looking to be loved. That's something that I talk to a lot of our parents a lot about, teaching your kids not only communication, but understanding what love is, because love is not sex and sex is not love. And we've got to communicate with our younger generation and our younger kids about what truly trust and love. And if you have a problem or something's not right, go to an adult and let them know. And it's just like a lot of these organizations and law enforcement agencies use the see something, say something movement. I'm 100% agreeing with that, because if you see something, you need to say something, and then we've got to do something.
I think we all have an obligation to step up. This is something that's going on and been going on for too long. And I think it's the only way we can do that is educate each household of some of the social media outlets, some of the warning signs, what to look for. It's something that we all can take a part of, and we all can truly make a difference if we become awareness of what's happening and the avenues of the attacks.
And like I said, our group started this year. I've been studying and researching human trafficking for the past 3 years. I've been a police officer reserve with the Millbrook Police Department for 5 years. Back in 2017, you started hearing a little bit more about human trafficking, and I got intrigued with it. And at first I was like, this really can't be happening in the United States. And as the year went by, I was blown away with all the different cases throughout this country and across the globe of even trafficking through the United States from different countries. So 2018, I took as many classes as possible, did my own research, and started really visualizing a team and an alliance, not only for human trafficking, but for child safety, mental illness, teen suicide, and put it all in one big alliance to help survivors and law enforcement. Because law enforcement in Alabama needs everybody's help. We have all got to team up together and start working together to educate our law enforcement, because they're the front line of defense for human trafficking, is our young patrolmen that are patrolling the streets, that are pulling these vehicles over. And they need that training. And statistically in 2017, The Guardian put out the numbers for the United States law enforcement that only at the time 15% of law enforcement had any human trafficking training, where 80 to 95% of the victims are women and children, with only 1% being reported. Now, I took those numbers and I really looked into 2020 of this year being such a critical year with everything from domestic violence, human trafficking, mental illness, teen suicide. And maybe I'm hoping with this year, where human trafficking has been a little bit more focal point on our social media platforms and being heard finally, because I still think that we're 20 years behind, where the Victims Act come out in 2000, where George W. Bush signed it. So if that law come into effect for survivors in 2000, here we are in 2020, and we're just getting some of the information out. If we're just getting the information out, the bad guys are so ahead of us. And that's something that I wanted to get our alliance to work with as far as educating our communities and our teachers and law enforcement, and then our parents.
It's so important that we've really got our work cut out from us. This is nothing new. This has been going on for a really long time. It goes back. You can look back to the '80s with the Franklin cover up, and it's something that we really have to educate, inform, and just bring awareness to as many people as possible.
Because we've got to also educate our children on the dangers of how social media work, our platforms. A lot of children have phones now as early as the age of 10. And also the iPads, and people are gaming and they're on the internet. And it's so easy for the coercion to start just by an inbox. And that goes back to teaching our young parents what to look for and knowing that there's people outside that are willing to help them if they have questions. And we operate almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're not a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 organization. And we're here to help in any aspect of human trafficking, child safety. And we are so blessed with the team that we have, and also to have a group of mental health management crisis managers and some doctors and we can also get them in touch with law enforcement as soon as possible.
And what I'm really excited about this organization, it is really a grassroots organization, and it started from the ground up. Everybody's truly passionate about it, and we're all learning as we go, many of us. And I think as we go and learn, I think it's important for you to take the time and talk to your children. And you'll be amazed when you sit down and really talk to them and just find out how aware they are of this, and they have how many times they've had contacts. And like David said, when you look into different social media outlets, look at some of the gaming stuff, these predators and these people are out there, and you have to become aware.
And, it's really up to us, not only as advocates, law enforcement, parents. We in America have got to stop the demand for buying sex, because buying sex this year is astronomical in numbers. And if you could stop the demand, you could put a curb to this. Because now that you're having internet, you have the different websites to buy it, the different opportunities in different hotel circuits to get sex. You also got to look at now the street gangs and different organizations throughout the United States that are using human trafficking to their advantage for a faster capital of money, because it's all about money. Another thing that really kind of saddened me the latter part of 2019 was where human trafficking got its notoriety basically from Epstein and government being in the news. And it's just facts that Epstein kind of catapulted this with these different groups of getting the information out. And we have also got to use our private businesses and local businesses to have human trafficking free zones. We need that in the state of Alabama. And we also need to get this information in our school systems with teachers and guidance counselors and coaches and church groups, which there's a lot of great church groups and organizations throughout Alabama that helps the survivors, to where more our organization is basically not only helping survivors and child safety, is I'm wanting to help our law enforcement use our organization and alliance together to train our new officers, get them the information they need, and work together collectively in Alabama to set up some type of enforcement to at least curb the buying of sex.
And it's so important to really look at it and think about it. This is not just a problem here in the United States. It's a problem around the world, even within the United States with the Native American community, with indigenous women. Also, regards to some of our immigrant children. It's an ongoing problem over and over. And for me personally, this is a spiritual battle. It's a call to arms, and it's time for us to finally put our boots on the ground and truly start making a difference and stop this wickedness that's going on.
And also with human trafficking safety in the educational system, Florida and Texas has come on board and putting it in our educational systems, where Alabama has not done that yet. I would love to see that happen within the next few years. And also, human trafficking happens in broad daylight. I mean, it happens in our school systems. It happens in our grocery stores, our parks, our neighborhoods. And we have got to get that information of the reach, teach, prevent, and protect our survivors to every community. And also, I'm trying to also build a bridge with these different advocate groups and alliances with our law enforcement to build trust back into the community, to where our community will be more vocal and coming forward if they see something and call in and get them the help they need.